computer buffs, there's an article about this new device from Sega that takes us into the future. The future, of course, being virtual reality. Something that's being talked about by other people, but produced by Sega. Well, I can't get to the right page, but check out this little demonstration of VR.
Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Refresh. I hope you all had a good week. It particularly was not a very good week for Sony in Japan, as this is their third week the PlayStation 4 has been on the market, and numbers are not looking very good. Their very first week in Japan was pretty strong. They launched 309,154 units sold. Then a pretty sharp drop. The next week was only about 65,685 units, and as of last week it was only 35,294 units sold. To put things in perspective, the Wii U launched a year ago, and on their first week they were very close at 308,142 units. But then week number 2 was 126,916, and week number 3 they were still pretty high at 133,843. So does this mean that the Wii U is particularly doing better in Japan and the PlayStation 4 is doomed? Absolutely not. It's just numbers at this point, and there's a lot of different factors going on here. For the full insight into exactly what's going on, go ahead and check out my article. So part of the reason why the PlayStation 4 is not selling well in Japan is a lack of Japanese-centric titles. There happens to be an article up on the website this week that addresses Japanese development, particularly how their global market share has dropped to 13%, and comments by the president of Sega why certain titles like World War II shooters and FPS games aren't popular in Japan. After all, he would know. Sega is one of the few companies that has attempted a Japanese FPS Outrigger. Sure you don't remember it, and there's a good reason for that. And speaking of games that won't do well in Japan, football. Probably not that popular, but I think maybe if you put robots in it, Japanese might take interest. And believe it or not, somebody has made a game that combines robots, football, and turn-based strategy. The game is called Frozen Endzone. It's being developed by Mode 7. It just hit Steam this week. I wrote up a quick little preview of it, just to update since the article. The price of the game is $25, which is, in my opinion, is a little bit high for an early access title, but it grants you 2 copies of the game. So kind of a weird pricing structure. You might want to hold off for a Steam sale, but it looks interesting. At least watch the video and form your own opinion. Here's somebody you probably didn't even know was part of the global gaming market. Apparently there's some Nigerian studios popping up in the mobile space with games like Mosquito Smasher and Okado Ride. For me personally, I'm waiting for a Nigerian game where you're a barrister to a prince that you have to send out a bunch of letters of inheritance to random people and see who responds. So when that game's developed, be sure to check out the site for the preview. And because every Nigerian with a computer is a scammer, let's talk about stereotypes. There is an article up on the website this week about gamer stereotypes, particularly antisocial behavior, being fat, and so on. The source article is from the student newspaper, the Baylor Lariat, written by a senior journalism major there. She didn't particularly do any scientific research, clearly define what a gamer is, gaming habits, or anything actually really worthwhile, but hey, it's on our website, so if you got a couple minutes, read it anyway. And if you're that stereotypical antisocial fat gamer, maybe you've heard of a little title called EVE Online. If you haven't, there's an article about it up on the website this week. It's a very large MMO with its own economy, huge space battles, factions, real-life espionage. The list goes on and on. The article particularly focuses on the war aspect of EVE, a big battle where 600 some warships were destroyed, trillions of dollars lost, all sorts of interesting geeky stuff going on. So go check it out if you got a couple thousand hours to waste. And if you prefer your EVE without the spreadsheets and boring stuff, there's a space combat simulator in the EVE Online universe being developed for the Oculus Rift VR headset. And we have an article up this week about the history of VR, including early attempts like Nintendo's Virtual Boy and this Power Glove right here, and how they were the foundation of modern VR and where things are going, like the Crystal Cove version of Oculus Rift. Now, I'm playing with power. And lastly, there's an article that's not yet up on the website, but it's in regards to tomorrow's Ultra Street Fighter 4 5th character announcement. If you haven't been keeping track, for 6 months, Capcom has been teasing who this character is. All we know is that she is female and has never been a playable character in a fighting game before. And there's a lot of guesses on who she might be. The educated guess right now is a bison doll named Santamu, so that's who I'm going with. And if I'm wrong in my guess, I will do next week's newscast with this Kasumi figure balanced on top of my head, which is not an easy task because, as you see, it's pretty top heavy. So stay tuned next week. Either way, you're gonna know who the character is, and you might see me look even more stupid during the entire weekend refresh. But on that note, check out Gamers Unite for all the latest gaming news and previews, and all the latest LAN events going on, and where to meet up, and what's coming up, and all that good stuff. So until next week, I'm Ryan Kearns. See you later.